Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it.
Kevin, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. I guess it's afternoon. Good afternoon, barely.
Yeah, it is barely afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm loving the new images behind you. We don't have just brick wall. Not that there was anything wrong with just brick wall, because that's a pretty damn nice brick wall. But yeah, you got some add-ons there.
Yeah, we're working on it a little bit every day, every week. And I know it's kind of hard to. That's a wolf, and that's a old man in the sea driving the ship on the helm.
You're not gonna flex. You're not gonna flex and point them out like you did to me a little bit ago.
I mean, I don't want to create a scene.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, it's almost summer, and when sun's out, guns out, but not yet. I'm a humble guy.
Yeah. As soon as the record button goes on, it's like the humble button or the record
Right.
button. Yeah,
It really is, actually. That's a good point. You should call it the humble button. Yeah, that's a very good way to say it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that is funny, actually.
So what's exciting, man, other than the pictures behind you?
No, just living life, enjoying what I'm doing, and thankful for every day, as I often say.
Amen.
How about you?
Amen to that. Yeah, all is well. Had a very productive weekend, and looking forward to another very productive week. All is.
I love your topic this week, by the way, very much. So you gotta talk about that. You gotta tell us what it is and why you picked it. And I really like the way that you came to it. So please tell folks.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You got to pay attention to what's going on around you, because there's opportunities to learn in everything. And so, as you folks that listen and watch this know, we come up with new topics every week, and we have a discussion about them. And we take turns. Oftentimes, I pick a topic, then Kevin picks one the next week, and it keeps going. Sometimes he'll pick two in a row, or I'll pick two in a row. And this one happened to be my turn, and I honestly, I was struggling a little bit. I had been fairly busy during the week, and really hadn't put as much mental energy towards it as I needed to. And at the same time, I was thinking about it, constantly, and wondering what's going to be a good topic for our next recording. And turns out when you put that energy out into the universe, it delivers for you. And sometimes it comes in the weirdest ways, and you just got to be paying attention. So I got this email from the guys that do the lawn maintenance for me. They don't cut the grass, but they do the fertilizing and seeding and all that stuff. So, but they sent me an email that said they were going to do fertilizer and weed killer application today. And just give me a heads up and to stay off the lawn for a certain amount of time, yada, yada. And I thought, that just kind of hit me. I'm like, a topic to talk about. Let's talk about fertilizer and weed killer for your mind. And, that just kind of jumped out at me, right? So I shared it with you, and you were on board with it, probably after you got over the what the hell is he talking about reaction. But so,
Actually,
what do you think?
Yeah, so let me tell the story. First of all, all's well that ends well, and the topic that you have is ending well, so it's going to be good. But when you first texted it to me, all you texted was the topic being fertilizer and weed killer. And I kind of thought, Okay. I'm not sure what he means by this. I'm not sure where he's going with this because you didn't do the, mental, my
Matters of
whatever
the
you said.
mind or whatever I added in there.
Matters of the mind. That's what you said. Matters
Because
of
I
the
was having
mind.
that same experience. I was like, that might be, he commented a few episodes ago about, sending him a topic. Then he was like, what the hell is he talking about? But maybe I need to give him a little bit more on this one. So that's when I gave you the follow-up. Matters of the mind.
Yeah.
Fertilizer and
I
weed
love
killer.
it. I love it. So as soon as you sent the second text, and thank you for doing so, because who knows what direction I would have gone in otherwise.
Right.
With just fertilizer and weed killer, I'm thinking, is he like becoming an environmentalist, or what's going on here? But matters of the mind, man, that's a perfect fit. And so I want to hear what you have to say about it, and then I'll tell you what I came up with. I think those two concepts. The first, uh, fertilizers. What do you do to your brain to make it grow? Right. That's what's the juice? What are the inputs? But it's a different story. Part two, which is how do you kill the weeds that are going on in your brain? So it's really very sort of clever. Even I'm sure 30,000 people thought of it before I did, but I liked it. Go ahead.
Nice. So for me, the whole idea of fertilizer, you mentioned you're growing your brain. We can, continue learning up until the day we die, this physical death in this realm. And with intention, you can learn new things, and that I think that's a focus. Learn new things, learn new stuff, learn how to do new things, and your brain will grow. The term neuroplasticity jumps into my head there, because that's building those new neural pathways by learning new stuff. So I think that's a focus of that everyone should have, really, whether it's through, and there's lots of different ways to do it. I mean, physically learning a new task, exposing yourself to new material by reading. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do that growth as far as your mind goes, but do so in a positive way. You can also learn, negative things and things that will be counterproductive to your success and your joy and happiness in life, and steer clear of those. That's where some of the weed killing comes in my mind, right? So your thoughts that you have on a daily basis, what do they say? The majority of them are negative. And that's where I think you need to be ready with that tank sprayer full of weed killer to eradicate those things as they crop up. And you can do that in, I think, both a proactive and a reactive way. So the reactive way would be, dealing with them when they occur and redirect that positive, or, that thought into something more positive. The other thing would be to, kind of like you do in a healthy lawn, right? So a good healthy lawn will choke weeds out, because they just can't take root, and they can't thrive in an environment where all that healthy stuff is around them. And I think that your mind is the same way. So, you keep the positivity going on, you keep doing productive things, learning new things. And I think you'll find that the incidence of negativity will start to reduce because of the positive. Now, there's also a school of thought that, too much positivity can actually be toxic, and that there is, some need for some negativity to crop in there every now and then, because it gives you some balance and so on. You don't want to fall into that positive, the positive toxicity realm where, you accidentally, cut your hand off and, oh, well, I guess I wasn't supposed to have two hands, and, turn it into a positive thing. I mean, you certainly want to overcome that, and should something horrific like that happen to you. And at the same time, own the fact that that was some negative stuff that just occurred, I think I'm rambling a little bit there,
Yeah, no.
but that's the idea, right? So, lots of positivity, when the negative things crop up, hit them with that weed killer, and whatever that weed killer is for you, right? So, whether it's, I've mentioned music before, and how music can be uplifting, or it may be a certain activity like, just getting up and changing your outlook on things, like, you're having a rough day, and, just getting up and walking away from your desk, walking outside, getting some fresh air, just changing it up for a second might be enough weed killer to bring some positive thoughts back in there and get rid of the negativity that you may be feeling.
Great stuff. I want to respond to some of what you said and then add some of my own. I really liked, by the way, your do something different that you normally do. Get out of your routine. And this is now falls into the category of fertilizer. How do you put stuff in there that makes you grow and stretch? So everybody kind of has their life. They have their routine. They have the things they do. But every once in a while, mix it up. Instead of going for a walk, dust off your bike and go for a bike ride, and just do something different, or do something completely different. Go swim, whatever it is. Do something differently. But for me, also the sort of how do I grow the brain? Read, meditate, exercise, do things with your family, rehearse. I love, as you've heard me say before, predetermined thought predicts present action. And so, put yourself forward mentally into a situation that you're about to enter and think through how you're going to handle it. That really helps you grow. Think about what other people might say to you. And so all of that stuff to me is fertilizer for the brain. I like the idea of music as well. You mentioned that mood music. It can put you in a place and a time that just makes you happy. Right. And I'd never heard the term positive toxicity, but when you described it, it makes sense. I mean, to me, that could actually be delusional. You're so positive all the time, nothing could go wrong. That's actually a delusion. It might even be a mental health issue if that's the only thing that you do. So, so that's the the fertilizer. On the weed killer side, this whole idea of replacing bad habits with good habits, it's very hard. It's very hard to stop doing a bad habit. If you just say, I don't know, pick whatever, think of a bad habit and you say, I got to stop that. Whatever that is, I got to stop it. And if you just say, I'm going to stop it, and I have the willpower, I got the skills, I'm just going to stop doing it. And you try to stop, it's really hard. It's very, very hard to stop a habit because it's a habit.
Yeah.
What you need
our
to
brains
do is
don't work that way.
It don't work that way. You replace it, right? You replace it with a good habit. I'll give you a specific example of my life. I just went through this long period of time where I'd be sitting home at, the work day is over. I'm kind of caught up. I now want to relax for an hour and just take it easy. Maybe watch some mindless TV or listen to some music or talk to Paula or whatever. But I would start eating, just almost like it was a habit. I would start eating junk. And one day I woke up and go, this is not good for me. I mean, I'm slowly gaining weight. I don't want to do that anymore. So I said, what can I do to replace that habit? So what I did, and I'm not a tea guy, but I started drinking hot tea at night. And so when I got that urge to eat, and I would convert that into, I'm going to get up and go to we have a tea making machine, and I'm going to make a cup of tea. And just that doing something different stopped me from that bad eating habit. So to me, that was a mental weed for me. Change of focus. As you know, what you focus on, you get. So if you choose to focus on all the negativity that's going on out there, that's what you're going to get. All the bad news that's coming out. Here's the last thing I'll say before I let you react. Try this for a day. Try to pay attention to only good news. Go seeking. In fact, go even seeking good news. What's good happening out there? And you can Google this stuff, right? Or you can just pay attention to it in your life. Today, what good is happening to me today? And do that all day long, one day, and see the difference in how you feel that night then compared to your typical day. It's amazing. Actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What's the old saying? Seek and you shall find.
Right. Yeah.
What are you looking for? Because you're surely going to find it.
That's right.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
And I love what you said when you're talking about this thought that just completely left my freaking mind as I started to talk. But no, when you're talking about changing things, right? So doing something different,
replacing
yourself. I'm not going to do this. It's kind of like, goes back to the whole words have power thing and how our brains work. And the example that was coming to mind when you said that is, I've heard this said before. If you yell at the kids, don't slam the door as they're going out the door. Their mind doesn't hear the don't part. Their mind hears the slam the door. So, change that up to, close the door easy, or, gently, or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use that example in many different ways. Our mind tends to not hear the don't. So, reframe the way you're thinking about things, and potentially the way you say things to others as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I loved it, and it's making me better today, this very day, because I am paying attention to the things that I'm doing, and I'm trying to pay attention to the good things that are happening in my life. I have decided already what I'm going to read when I get home tonight.
Nice.
That's a very sort of uplifting and positive. So that's how I'm going to fertilize, and I'm going to continue my habit of, if I get hungry tonight, I'm going to replace it with hot tea.
That's a
And
great suggestion, by the way. Yeah, hopefully that that landed with some folks that are listening or watching, because yeah, do something. You're certainly not going to put on excessive weight by drinking tea alone.
correct.
Now, don't pile a bunch of sugar in that tea.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you. Great topic. Great reminder for everybody to pay attention to fertilizing your brain and getting rid of those weeds. I love it.
Amen to that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the discussion. Glad you brought so much enthusiasm to it. That's certainly with short notice, right? So it didn't give you a lot of time on this topic, but like
It
I
was
said,
great.
I was struggling a little bit, and then boom, there it was. So
There it was, right in front of you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how I can turn this 2/3 empty, Coke can into something for next week. I'll come up with something. Now that you said it, I'm looking for it.
In the Coke can. All right.
Right.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna reach over here and hit this button and say something like this. No matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.